Jake, great showing this weekend. Women, finishing seventh, and the men fourth, possible in that large bid. Just kind of walk us through the regionals.
All right, I'll start with the ladies since they kicked things off for us on Saturday with a pretty high note there. Last year, our women finished 14th, and they came out 7th, so right there, that makes it a pretty good day for us. I want to take a step back for a second and kind of look at things when I first got here. My first week here, I found out that 4 of the 5 girls that scored at the Lone Star Conference track meet for us, including a conference champion and a conference runner-up, had chosen they weren't going to run for us. And so, we were left with a very minimal roster basically when I first got here. But what I'll tell you is that I had girls here that want to be a part of what we're doing here and really wanted to run. And they were there for each other. And they were like, we want to do something. We want to win a conference championship. We want to do as good as we can, be a top 10 team in the region. And they committed to that. And it's as much as I would like to have some of those other girls that we lost at the beginning of the year, I wouldn't rather have had any other 7 girls out there, even if we could have been maybe a little better. I made for a great environment, great atmosphere, and allowed some of these girls that I'll admit were pretty rough when I first got here to really transform over the past 2.5 months that we've been working together. And you got some front runners, of course. We got Armana in here as a freshman. We're going to see some phenomenal things out of her here in the next 3 years. She went out there and tried to run with the top pack, and I asked her to do that to see if she could do it and make the national meet. And you know what? She was there through halfway and faded a little bit, but I can tell you that in the future she's going to be right up there with them. She's just getting started with everything. And Nicolina was really the extra piece that wasn't there at the Lone Star meet to help us win. But I mean, she went out there and she finished right behind Armand, and she was a good minute behind her plus at the conference meet. So she wanted to help these girls out that have worked pretty hard. And really the moral of the story with these ladies is that they were out there for each other and they had a goal. They were focused on it. They executed perfectly did what I asked them to do. And we came out with a much, much better performance than they had in the last couple of years in the regional meet. We'll wait to hear on a couple of large bids, maybe for some of the girls individually, but most likely it'll look like the season will be done. But really a good tone's been set for what we're going to try and do here moving forward. I'm very, very excited for the future of our women's team. Then the men's team, after coming off of that women's run, had a little bit of positive energy going, like, okay, we're home, things are looking good, we're seeing some good results, things are happening in the way that we want them to. We get out there, and take you back a little bit on the men's side too. We found out last week that Ben West Henry was likely done for us for the season. He only ran the conference meet for us, was 5th at the conference meet, 5th or 6th, and we found out that he was done. And so coming off a good conference race, we're like, what are we going to do now? We didn't have another guy after our guy finished 8th. We didn't have anyone else until the 21st for Jacob Sukers, and Reed Splon was 31st or 32nd at the conference meet. So that's a big difference when you lose a guy who was 5th for the season. So that's the way the season's been for us. We've had a lot of little rough spots along the way, but you know what? We've kind of kept focused on, Jeffrey's been coming along every week. Owen's been coming along a little bit better every week. So some of our younger guys have been consistent for us. So I challenged Reed Splon and Jacob Sukers to say, you know what? You guys need to go out there and you guys need to put yourselves up there. And you know what? You take a risk and maybe something good will happen. Well, you know what? I was almost ready to just kind of curl up in a ball at the 3-mile mark when I saw that Owen and Jeffrey were outside of the top 30, and they're supposed to be in the top 20, top 15. And knowing that we didn't have our 5 runner that we usually have, it was not looking good. But then all of a sudden I see, well, there's 2 other guys right behind him, and what's Reed doing up there? I was very, very excited when I saw that, and you know what? It got to some of those guys up front. I told them, hey, we got a 4 or 5 back there. You guys need to do your job. They moved up a little bit, held on strong. Owen passed out at the finish line from dehydration, so that's why he had an off day. But you know what? Altogether, similar to the women, they went out there and they ran for each other. I mean, I saw a lot of guys. You look at CSU Pueblo, who we beat by 4 points. I watched their number 3 go from about 10th back to about 35th. I watched their number 4 continue to go back and was up with our 3. He went back and he finished back with behind our 5th. That was one guy that Reed passed coming up that last 200-meter hill. Passed him, passed another 5 guys. You talk 4 points. That's how we beat Pueblo. And if we don't beat Pueblo, we aren't in this conversation right now for an at-large bid. So between him, Briggs Whitlick being consistent for a freshman over the 10K distance, A lot of great work from those two boys from Tascosa that we're very, very proud of those two boys right there. And overall, I'm just very proud of the efforts that those boys gave, because we knew we had to be at least fourth and beat Pueblo to be in that conversation, and they did that.
You said you're expecting about an hour or so. Percentage-wise, what do you feel like your chances are of getting that up large?
I've played circumstances through my head the last 2 nights. I haven't got too much sleep. I've been playing with results. This is the first year for the at-large system, so I would say that I'd say 90% confident that we have bid. I would be very disappointed if we don't, as I think that we have a top 15 team in the nation, like we thought we had when we first got here, even without Ben West Henry. These boys are tough. They know what they want. They have a goal. They had one coming into this season to be top 10. And you know what? I'm not going to say that we don't still have a chance to do that. So I'll be disappointed if our boys don't get into some of those teams a little bit behind us, because they beat us a couple times, and those are some good teams that we beat today or this weekend with Colorado State Pueblo, Dallas Baptist, and Rogers State. So I'm hoping for them as well. If we get in, that they get in as well, because those are definitely some good teams. We just had a little bit better of a day on Saturday, and a little bit more luck than they had.
Say about the region, just how good you guys are from when you have that many at-large teams come out of one region.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at this region. I mean, I look on paper, and I mean, I could see 4 or 5 teams being in the top 20 in the nation for sure, maybe even 6. Again, you got to see if those teams get into the national meet, of course, with the at-large process. But you got the top 2 teams in the nation with Adams State and Colorado Mines. There was almost a dual meet up there. Some of the guys mixed it up with them a little bit. But you got those 2 teams up there. It's going to make it a great meet regardless. Western State, historically one of the top teams in the nation. Those 3 teams right there, Western, Adams, and Mines, are the only 3 teams to win a national title in D2 cross country since 2008. So if that says anything about our region, that right there says that, you know, when we show up there, those are 3 automatic bids, and those are pretty darn hard to come by in our region. So then you go to 4, 5, 6. CSU Pueblo, they were 9th last year, and we beat them this weekend. So I mean, I can tell you that it's a pretty darn tough region. You got those schools from Colorado are no joke, and you know we got a lot of up and coming teams with Dallas Baptist and Rogers State. They ran very well against some good competition this whole year. Dallas Baptist and Rogers both beat the number 2 team out of the Central Region, Missouri Southern. I can tell you that. Who was it? It was Rogers State lost by 1 point to Bellarmine, which was the number 5 team out of the Midwest. So that's also telling me that, you know, we go to that national meet and we run against some of these teams. That's more and more reason to tell me, you know, we're going to be a top 15 team if we get to that meet. They give us one of those bids, and we've had the luxury, if you say, of competing against some very, very good competition this weekend, and being pushed and knowing what it's like to have to work for something and have to go out and take something that we think is ours. I can tell you it definitely wasn't easy. It definitely was not, definitely was very stressful, but when you look at those kind of situations, that's where we need to thrive at the championship meets, and we've handled those very well the last 2 meets, and I expect the same if we get the opportunity to go to Evansville here in 2 weeks.